Hi there! In this video I'm going to show you how to build a simple grid-tied solar setup with minimal cost. This is an experiment I did and it works as expected. So I've been looking in for a simple cost-effective solar system to try out with, and guess what? It works. So I will go about a simple design. Let's talk about the things you need for this setup. All you need is a solar panel, microinverter, cables, wires and a plug. In this experiment, I have used Enphase microinverter. You also need a Q cable to connect to the AC grid, and the wires. You can use 10 gauge thin wires and a plug so that you can connect to the receptacle. There are some optional things I have used like PV wires, circuit breakers, safety box and a DC voltmeter. These things are not needed. As I mentioned, these are pretty optional if you want to keep the cost minimum. The output of the system is 240 volts, so you need to have a 240 volt supply so that you can connect to the grid. You want to check the voltage current at each point. You can add these optional stuff. It's fun to watch the how much you produce from your panel and how much it goes to your grid. Here I have used a used solar panel which is rated at 300 watt, but I get around 200ish, so which makes more than enough for my experiment here. Also this one I got from Enphase microinverter, which matches the configuration that solar panel produces. I have provided the list of items you need for this project. Please check the description, and you can search through the items online to see how much it costs. Here is the basic setup, how it looks like. As you can see, the lines from the solar panel, the positive and negative, comes to the breaker. I have a DC breaker as well as the AC breaker. You can see DC, the red and black wires, and then goes to the shunt to monitor a different reading like voltage, amps, and the energy. And the other end of the negative goes to the microinverter and the AC wires, which I'm using a Q cable to connect to the microinverter, and that goes to an AC breaker, and from the breaker it goes to the 240 volt grid. In this circuit you see flashing orange, which means it's connected to the grid, but there is no communication with the NY. Here is a DC monitoring system. As you can see, it is in the screen the voltage, current, power and energy. Here is an interesting chart I want to show you guys. As you can see, this data is for the given day. Also you can see the bars for each hour, and during the sun, which is probably around 11 to 4ish, I can say, you probably get it like a good 5-hour sun. So this can give you a clear picture, how much you can use the solar power during the sun. You can adjust this data based on your consumption, hourly consumption. So you can either add more panels or reduce panels, so that you can keep it within the range you want and maximize your usage. On average, 5 hours normal sun. And here I'm using a 300 watt panel, which averages me around 200, between 200 to 225 watt output. And you can see in the graph I mentioned, where averages out, my consumption is anywhere 240 to 300, you can say. So I'm just keeping the my production under that line, so that I don't go negative. You can see for the 5 hours, each hour I'm getting a 200 watt and for the 5 hours it will be 1 kilowatt, so which is not bad. As you see, this is not a huge savings. You get around 20% or maybe 15% based on the sunlight you get every day. I hope you got a better idea from this how the setup would look like, so that you can make a better decision when going solar. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video. Bye.